This is Pat from the thrash metal band Wreck-Defy. You're listening to Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio with Dave Softees.
Dave Softees! Dave Softees!
Born insecure junkyard motherfucker.
You have no idea how you make me feel like a bat in the face, a fucking disgrace. I'm running your mouth behind my back. You are the personification of a gun nightmare. Get ready for the rodeo. Shit kicking for a one-man show. My fist, your face, this face, this face. I get excited just thinking about it. I wanna smash your head with a mallet. Yeah, of course it's about me. I treat this like therapy. Face down in a bullshit. Yeah, you suck my dick. You make it seem so innocent. You motherfucker, you. Your kindness is so pertinent to what you always do. Call it what you want. You set the tone. Face down in a bowl of shit. You're on your This is beyond hate. Stronger than love, private dog in a crate. Parading around like a crack whore. Telling everybody that you're hardcore. White collar and stripes, you think you're such a fraud. You'll never be like me. Could never do my job. You make it seem so innocent. You motherfucker, you. Your kindness is so pertinent to what you always do. Call it what you want. You set the tone. Face down in a bowl of shit. You're on your own. Call it what you want. You set the tone. Face down in a bowl of shit. You're on your own.
Your mother sucks fucking big fucking elephant dicks. Got that?
Alrighty, here we go, Metal Maniacs. Please help me welcome back to Metal Messiah Radio. Hailing from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, from a thrash metal band Wreck-Defy, joining us for the third time in as many albums we have, once again, guitarist Matt Hanchuck.
Hello, Dave Softees. How
I'm
are you,
doing
Dave?
well. Just finished my Softee season and back here to do Metal Messiah Radio. And that being said, welcome back to the Metal Meltdown. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Yeah.
You've kept in touch with me over the season with your funny messages and videos and stuff, and you sent me the music to Powers That Be. And from talking to people out there, it's made like the top lists of everybody's thrash offerings of the year 2020. Oh yeah,
Very good.
And,
Very good. Glad to hear that. I've never heard that till now, so that's
well,
good
yeah,
to hear.
especially since I talk a lot with Brother Joker of the Electric Circus. I want to mention that I'm especially honored to have you back on the Metal Meltdown, especially since you've already got with him. I hear he really enjoyed talking with you. It was a great interview. And who knows, perhaps you'll get with Lori and Toby of the Power Slave show as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be killer. I'd love to have a discussion with them about the record and music and all things metal.
Absolutely. I mean, Metal Messiah Radio and Wreck-Defy, they work out very well.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Metal Messiah Radio has been like, pretty much a godsend for Wreck-Defy's exposure, right? So starting with you, Dave. I mean, you were the originator for my introduction to Metal Messiah Radio, and obviously that's branched out a little bit. And yeah, Joker was killer too, man. First time I got to chat with that fella, and yeah, just an all-around good guy, just like yourself. So, and I'm sure that Toby and his wife are much the same. So, yeah, Toby and Lori rather. I'm looking forward to discussing anything with anyone from Metal Messiah Radio and broadening my horizons with the communication.
We appreciate that, and I have to give a thanks to Vlad of Vlad Promotions, because that's where I first heard of Wreck-Defy. I don't know if you're still associated with him, but that was for your first offering. And honestly, if it wasn't for Vlad, maybe I would not even know of you.
Yeah, you know what, Vlad? I've kept in contact with Vlad, albeit on a sporadic level. But every so often I send Vlad something, an update, or I think I might even send him some demo tracks of Powers That Be, if I'm not mistaken, before they actually came to a final mix sound. But anyway, yeah, Vlad's good people. He does a lot for the metal community, and you know, I always reiterate the same thing. I've said it before, and I hate to flog a dead horse, but you know, it's united we stand, divided we fall thing, and everyone plays their own part in it. Guys like Vlad, you know, that are out promoting the bands, and then guys like yourself with the podcast. You know, without the correlation, the affiliation with each other, none of us will exist. So it really is a true team effort.
This is true, and without bands such as yourself, we wouldn't be doing what we do, because we're all about supporting the underground, and this is very important to us. And it's just amazing. Every year I come back to do Metal Meltdown. This is my 13th season, and as you know, it's Metal Messiah Radio's 13th anniversary. January 23rd, special year. It's going to be. I joined Metal Messiah Radio. I guess it was 10 months into it, so I guess I would be celebrating my 12th anniversary, but it is my 13th season, beginning 13th season. But anyway, getting back to Vlad for 1 second.
Well, congratulations for the longevity.
Well, I'm loyal.
Dave.
You know, very loyal to LC, always have been, and there's no place I'd rather be. Metal Messiah Radio. It's there for me. And so, but Vlad, it seems every season, I've been supporting his bands for years, his roster, but it's always a new season with a brand new lineup of artists for him. So he always gives me a lot to choose from as far as interviews. So I have to appreciate that as well. But let's get back to Powers That Be. I have checked out your brand new offering.
Sure.
Thanks to you sending it to me and discussing this with my friends and colleagues, metal brothers and sisters. Really loving this album. Like, it's one of the top offerings of the year, like I told you. And I noticed that you're working with Punishment 18 Records for this.
Actually, you know what? It's there's a 3-label correlation for the release of this record. So Sublevel Records, which is basically owned and operated by Craig and Lum, you know, from Heathen, and he filled in for Gary when Gary played with Slayer during his departure from Exodus for those 5 years there, off and on. So in the metal world, Cragen should be a well-known individual. Anyways, Cragen owns Sublevel, so he took on the record for the digital portion of the release, the digital platform, licensed it to, you know, Amazon, Spotify, all the other digital platforms. To be honest with you, I'm not familiar with them. I don't download anything, but obviously I know what Spotify is, but there's Deezer, a few, a Tidal, I believe. Anyways, Punishment 18 signed us for the release of the CD, and then Doc Gator Records out of Switzerland signed us for a 4-color vinyl run. So there's actually 3 labels, and you know what, the good thing is they've actually been working together. So to promote the record. I know Doc Gator released an ad not that long ago, probably a month and a half ago, with regards to the vinyl and the pre-order, and they included CD, released by Punishment 18 Records in their ad. So that's cool that they're, promoting one another's labels as well. Because that, even beyond Wreck-Defy, if someone seeks out the label, most, how most metalheads are, we're nosy. So that they'll dig a little deeper into the label, and I'm sure they'll glean other artists that are, attractable to them, something they want to hear. So hopefully in the long run, it's really beneficial for everybody. Like I said, again, with a team correlation.
Exactly. And as I mentioned, this is another outstanding thrash offering from you. The first being Fragments of Anger, and then Remnants of Pain, and now with Powers That Be. I see you have the same kick-ass lineup as Aaron Randall on vocals from Annihilator, Greg Christian on bass from Testament, and Alex Marquez, drummer from Pessimist, Create a Kill, and many other bands, and of course yourself. So you've got something really special here with the sound that you get and everything related to your band. And you're, from what I gather, is more of a do-it-yourself type of guy, where you do pretty much everything for yourself, except for the graphics, maybe. And you've had the same guy do your graphics on your albums in the past. Is this the same with Powers That Be?
No, I sought out the craftsmanship, if you will, the artistry of a gentleman by the name of Arianthe from South America, and you can find him on Facebook under the moniker of Hand Wrought Art, and he's a very exceptional artist, and he's a Wreck-Defy fan. Actually, we spoke online prior to me actually entertaining the idea of him undertaking the artwork for the album, but he's got a plethora of things on his page that you can look through. That he actually sells art pieces, and then he can modify them accordingly for the band. But fantastic artist, I think, for our genre of music. Almost maybe quasi-death metal. It has that death metal sort of overtone to it, but I'm okay with that. It looks cool, and it's a complete departure from the Soldier concept that I kind of was wanting to leave behind anyway, because it's like next chapter now. So to be as far away from that concept was exactly what I was shooting for, and I thought that his imagery captured that perfectly. So, anyways, Arianthe, hand-wrought art.
Great artwork, and I really like it on the banner for our interview as a background to you. It works out very well. I love the color scheme as well. I must say that. LC did another fine job. right. And let's talk about the actual music. Are you responsible for all of the music and lyrics, or did everyone in the band have some play in this?
Yeah, no, I write all the music and then arrange the songs. Lyrics, Aaron and I split the lyrics for the most part. Pretty much 50-50 with the lyrics. That's not to say that one song is mine and one is his. Sometimes we'll split lyrical ideas for the same song. And a lot of that has to do with just sharing the endeavor, if you will. I try to encourage more input. Actually, you know what? The fourth Wreck-Defy album, just to get ahead of myself a little bit, Greg and I, Christian, have been really talking about Greg contributing musically as well on the next record. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, because, I'd like to, it's something I want to do, right? I want to work with other guys on a creative level. So, if that doesn't happen, it's okay, right? But at the end of the day, I welcome it, because I want to broaden the sound of the band, and I want to expand our sound. And, myself as a writer, well, obviously I'm limited to what I can write. So as creatively anyway, so it's nice to have, the opportunity to work with someone of Dave's, Greg's musical pedigree too. I mean, the guy's, he's a genius in his own right. So, and that goes for lyrics as well. I mean, anybody in the band wants to contribute something, always open, for let's go over it and see how it fits right to the music. But yeah, moving forward, I think we'll see much more contribution from other members. It's because, like I said, I've been encouraging it so often. I've asked Greg several times, but the last time we actually discussed about it, I think he was more keen on the idea as well. Yeah, but I appreciate that. I appreciate you loving the record.
So there will be a fourth Wreck-Defy offering. For some reason, after I spoke with you the last time, I thought that this particular album was going to be the last.
You know what? I did too.
You did mention that. Okay, I wasn't imagining. You did say that, right?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, this COVID shit was actually a blessing from the creative standpoint, because with regards to work and stuff, there was no overtime to be had, and there was a lot of downtime, and gave me a lot of time to sit and write and play. So, yeah, actually, to be honest with you, the fourth record is already recorded. Here's the funny thing, Dave, is that it's not mixed, mind you, but it's recorded. I keep calling him Dave now. Greg is in the studio, actually. He's been there twice in the last week in Pachico at Trident Studios with Juan doing his bass tracks for the new record. But the drum tracks and the guitar tracks are done. The vocals are pretty much 90% done. So, yeah, it's just about finished.
So there'll be a fourth.
Yes, 100%.
A fourth Wreck-Defy interview in 4 albums. That's pretty good. Repeat guest.
Well, let's mark it down now.
My situation would work. Actually, talking about COVID, my last season was extended 2 months because of COVID. I could not go back to work because they would not allow us to. But going back to work was pretty intense for the 4 or 5 months that it was. But I'm interested to know how this COVID pandemic affected you and during the recording process for Powers That Be. I mean, obviously, we've discussed about shows. You don't really do shows, but you do create this music, and you have a stellar lineup. So you have a lot of things going for you. I mean, do you have a plan that at one particular time or so you might consider playing out?
Oh, we do play shows, Dave. We haven't left Canada, right?
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. And but the other thing here is this: we were going to Europe this year. We were going to Europe this summer, like in 2020, and everything got kiboshed because of COVID, right? So at the end of the day, it's not nothing we can control. And like we talked about this before, so you asked me what COVID affected me personally, or the livelihood of the band. Well, that's what it affected, is that the opportunity to go to Europe was on the table for us this year, and we were going to do it, right? So we were all going to commit to it, regardless, hell or high water, holidays needed to be taken, what have you, shift trades. It was going to happen. It was only like a 14-day run, but regardless, it would have been cool, right? So just to bring Wreck-Defy over there. But for whatever reason, COVID happened and took that opportunity away. I'm going to suggest that it's merely postponed. It's not something that we're not opposed to doing. We've already agreed to do it. So that said, I don't know. I don't know that other bands relied on touring, right? And this is what I was alluding to when I kind of got ahead of myself. But we talked about this before. The music thing for like myself and the guys in this band, it's more of it's a cathartic outlet. It's not this. We're not dependent upon this band for our revenue stream or our livelihood. So the touring thing didn't affect us really one way or the other than it was a missed opportunity just to expand upon our fan base and maybe the notoriety of the band, right? But lucratively, it didn't hurt us. So, I feel bad for the bands that obviously rely on music for their livelihood. Those are the bands that this really affected, obviously.
True. And it's affected many.
So
there's no touring at all. So everyone's affected by it.
Well, yeah, and so for me, I mean, as shitty as it was to miss the opportunity, I still got to be thankful that we got to do a record again. We got a record mixed and mastered and finished this spring under this COVID condition, and we increased the notoriety of the labels we signed with for distribution for this record. Like Punishment 18, I got quite a few albums with bands from Punishment 18 that I enjoy. So, it's nice to get a little more notoriety with each record, and in spite of a pandemic, we were able to do that. So, yeah, man, I look at it from a positive perspective, Dave. I can't dwell on what isn't. I can only be happy with what is. So, Always trying to stay positive, brother. The anger and the misery comes out in the lyrics.
And I tell you, I'm enjoying the funny sound bites that are throughout the music too. I mean, I like to know more about that. I mean, when I hear it, I think of maybe something came from a movie or something like that. But I find humor in it. Actually, it's very entertaining, and I'm very happy that you added this to the music as well, especially the first track. Crazy.
Yeah. So that soundbite is actually Joe Pesci from the movie Raging Bull with Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese flick from 1980. Yeah, and you know what? That song is so tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, it's made to be offensive to a specific individual. So it was, you know, if you're going to write a song like that with the intent to offend someone, you might as well go right over the top with it, right? You know, because people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. So, you know, we love that song. We think it has a lot of energy. And then, obviously, like you say, the chorus has got that big soaring hook in it. So it's kind of like thrash meets a wasp hook almost in the chorus. I don't know. We're really happy and proud the way that song turned out. Aaron and I got a kick out of it doing it, too. Like the lyrics, we were laughing, sharing the ideas, because we thought it was ridiculous. But it's still a great song. You know, it's really powerful and great guitar solo in it, I think. Yeah, we're really happy with it. I'm glad you like it.
And I would say, is it safe to say the stability of the band, the lineup that you have, is from the last offering, this offering, and the future offerings as well? This is going to be the Wreck-Defy lineup, right?
Well, that's the same lineup that did the fourth record as well. So,
that's good to know. And let's remind the fans of Wreck-Defy, or the new people that have never heard of Wreck-Defy before, let's inform them on how they could support the band by getting merch. You have the Bandcamp, of course, the wreckdefy.bandcamp.com/releases. And they could also find you on Facebook.com, Underground 4560. Are there any other links that you want to share with us that would be good for the fans to find your music?
Yeah, well, like our new labels, like Doc Gator Records out of Switzerland, you know, check them out. They're actually putting together a really cool bundle in correlation with the vinyl release. Like I was telling you earlier, how they were working together with Punishment 18 Records out of Italy. So what they're providing is a bundle package with a T-shirt, a woven back patch, and the vinyl, as well as a color vinyl, I believe, and then the CD from Punishment 18, all in the same bundle package. So that's pretty cool.
Definitely nice.
And they also have, and they're also going to have the baby doll style shirts. So like it's, you know, women don't have to wear the goofy ones hanging off, you know, the Fruit of the Loom ones that the guys wear. So they get their own specific line of clothes there that is much more appropriate, I believe. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty happy with the notoriety that label has with regards to the quality of their product. A little bit of background from what I gleaned, speaking with the two gentlemen, Frank and Oliver from Doc Gator Records, just a couple guys from their team. Those guys are fans of every band that they sign. So they're not like a big cash cow label that is signing bands merely as tax write-offs at the end of the year. They're actually signing bands that they believe in and that they enjoy listening to themselves. So that's cool, because I know that they sincerely have our back and they truly believe in this record as well. So that's a really good feeling to have.
I hear you, and it sounds like you have a better merch situation now after dealing with them. More merch available for your fans.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that, things that we discussed, because I just remembered the other day that you and I were doing this interview today, and I was thinking about some of the discussions we've had in the past. And I remember you asking me, I think it was back in the Fragments album, back, you know, what is it, 2017, I guess, whatever it was, but 2018 maybe, February 2018? Could have been something like that. Anyways, you had alluded to, you know, what would you like to see? And I said, well, hopefully someday advance money to put out some proper merch, right? Well, we're at that stage.
Congratulations.
Now. You know what I mean? So little victories at a time. Little victories at a time, right, Dave? Yeah. You know, as minimal and as trivial as they are, it's still a step
It sounds great that it's going in the right direction for you. I'm very proud of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
And I haven't noticed any, but do you plan on making any music or lyric videos to accompany Powers That Be?
Yeah, there's 3 lyric videos online already for it. Freedom of Speech, Drowning in Darkness, and Skin all have current, and they're actually doing well. I think between the 3 of them collectively, they're probably in the last 2 months have around 6,000 views or something. So they're doing pretty good, you know, for albeit at an independent underground level, but it's spreading better than the last couple records are anyway. At this pace, you know, this early out of the gate, so to speak. We're also releasing a lyric video at the end of November for the song "I Am the Wolf," which is the second last track on the record. It's like a 7-minute riff opus. Really proud of that one too. It's an old school thrash song, totally influenced by like the likes of Heathen and Violence and all the great bands from the Bay Area. So.
I see. Matt, is this on YouTube? Is it on Punishment 18's YouTube or yours?
No, sorry. No, they're on YouTube. Yeah, the lyric videos are all on YouTube for sure. Yeah, just go under Wreck-Defy. There's a whole plethora of stuff.
I could have sworn I was looking for it on there. I couldn't find anything, but I don't know. I'll have to check again.
Maybe you spelled. Did you spell Wreck-Defy wrong, Dave?
It's possible.
Did you spell it RECTIFY?
No, not at all. I must have been looking in the wrong location, but that happens sometimes.
I was teasing you about it.
I know you might. But no, I haven't noticed. I have to check it out now. Thank you for guiding me in the right direction, because for those of us that have not seen it, we definitely want to.
I'll tell you what, when we're finished with our interview, I will send you the links on your Messenger page.
And I will share it on my page.
Beautiful.
Deal,
I appreciate that.
Thank you. And do you have any more? Have you acquired any more guitars, or are you happy with your good old faithful that you've been using?
Yeah, I still got. That's a good way of putting it. I still got the good old faithfuls. Still playing those BC Rich Draconian V's, and then actually I did acquire a Dimebag V, the Razorback V. I play that once in a while too. It's a nice guitar. I find the neck's really thin on it. It's a really fast neck, if you will. But yeah, I still got my custom made guitars too. You know, and I'm always looking to play new instruments. I was never one of those guys who was, you know, well, of course I've never been endorsed by a guitar either, so I can't say that I was 100% committed to anything for that reason. But you know, whatever guitar plays well and sounds well, that's the one I'm gonna play. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm not one of those guys that's anal about the name on the headstock. There's so many beautiful luthiers out there now. You know, independent guys. Jimenez guitar is another one online that I think is an amazing instrument. You know, same goes with amplification. I think I spoke about Curran Murphy before. Curran's making custom audio mutation heads, his very own head. And I'll tell you, those things are phenomenal. I put them up just next to just about anything for a 50-watt head. Wow. You know, my current live rig though is well, we're not playing any live shows, but as of last year, all my live stuff I'm running through an EVH head now, the 5150 EVH. And actually, I got to shout out a rest in peace to Eddie while I'm on your show here. So, out of respect for the EVH heads, so a shout out to Eddie.
I wasn't expecting that to happen. 65 years old, still very young.
No,
man. I had no idea he was.
It's not. It's just. It's that just kills me. I still. It's to this day. It just makes me ill. I don't know. It's almost surreal. Yeah. You know.
I know, and you never know if it was COVID related, even though. It wasn't because of COVID, they said, but you don't know if this pandemic speeds up if you have cancer or you have diabetes or high blood pressure. I think it just speeds up your existence, your lack of. It's very sad. But
I don't have an opinion on that. I can't substantiate that, but I hear you. I hear you. I don't know.
I just wonder. Yeah. And so we have good news that. Wreck-Defy will be making, or actually has made, but will be releasing a fourth offering. But beyond that, do you see the band continuing on in the years to come? And of course, putting aside the COVID, let's hope that this gets rectified, soon. Let's hope that this pandemic does go away and they find the right vaccine and people are over it. And for good, do you see the band going to Europe or doing other shows, maybe coming to America? Or is this something that you're just going to be patient with and see what happens when it happens?
No, 100%, man. I mean, that's the irony is, I mean, it's getting easier now. Like, we just seem to be finding more time right now, right? So, like as far as playing shows, I mean that's the whole point right now is to get this album promoted through the means of a live show, So I think next year will be a tell-all for the future, I think. I think if we can't get our shit together by the end of next, festival season, I think we're pretty much SOL for a while, So fingers crossed, and, stay optimistic. I try to keep my spirits as cheerful as possible. My job sucks, so at the end of the day, I try not to dwell on the negative, And yeah, I'm optimistic in that things will get better. I mean, how can they really get worse? I mean, for this, of course, everything can get worse, right? But I don't mean it in an insensitive way. What I mean is, how can it get worse with not playing shows? Is what I'm alluding to. It's gridlock. You can't play anything. Everything's closed right now. So it can only get better, is what I'm referring to with regards to but the shows I'm referring to. Rather.
Yeah,
so I don't. And I think so I'm going to stay optimistic, Dave, and assume that at some capacity, I'd like to see at least outdoor venues, outdoor events occurring somewhere at some capacity, right? Outdoors. I mean, we can do that safely by by all measures. It can be done safely. I believe it can on an outdoor scale. So, indoor venues, like clubs and stuff, which is really where the metal guys play. That's where we cut our teeth, right? I don't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately. But I do think shows should be a probability. It's just a matter of, negotiating, I guess, accordingly with the people that are in charge of the healthcare, the health rather, and Minister of Health, whatever you want to call them. I'm referring to Canada now. So.
Yeah, whoever the powers that be. Yep.
Yeah,
I got you.
The powers that be, right? Well, they control everything. Just like the lyrics say.
Now, I just heard you say your job sucks, but I have to tell you, just from your music, the force is with you. But you're still with the force, though, right?
You got it.
Does it really suck, the job? I thought you loved doing what you did.
Wow. I mean, at the end of the day, how much violence and carnage and child rape and how many animals do you want to see tortured and mutilated before it starts to bother you, man? So I'm not going to downplay it. I like helping people. Right. Don't get me wrong. And for the record, I've never shot an unarmed human being in my life, so I see all the dissension that's occurring in the United States, and it makes me sick because, I mean, that last officer that knelt on Floyd's neck, I mean, like, what are you thinking, man? I find it as egregious as anyone. It's just absolutely reprehensible. So, and it paints us all in a negative light. It pisses me off because we try so hard to dissolve that stereotype. And, the action of one or two idiots, if you will, and it throws us back to the Stone Age almost in terms of how we're perceived, So, yeah, it's it's not the environment that I started working in, Dave. You got to remember, I'm not new to this either. I've been a cop 24 years this year, or 23 years, I guess. You know what? I'm ready to hit those walking papers anytime.
Yeah, how many more years before you can retire from that?
Well, you know what? I can go in almost 6 years, like 5 3/4 or something like that. So I think that's probably going to happen too.
I appreciate your candor and your honesty and your feelings about the situation. It's very rare that we get to discuss that, and I really feel for you and understand where you're coming from. It's a sucky situation, and it's never going to get better, unfortunately. I don't see it ever getting better, but for you, I hope that it just is a more pleasant experience for you in the years to come. Let's hope so anyway.
It's all good, brother. And that's what the music's for. That's what my catharsis is the music. And that's ultimately what this Wreck-Defy vehicle has been doing. No matter what, that's one thing I've always gotten out of it is satisfaction in that it releases stress. A lot of the lyrics, I mean, with the exception of maybe I Am the Wolf, all of the songs on the new record are those are true stories. I mean, that's real stuff. That's from the heart. That's fact stuff, we're not writing about Dungeons and Dragons and leprechauns with swords and stuff. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that stuff. It's just not the vehicle that Wreck-Defy wants to be driving.
Yeah, that's good for power metal, but not for thrash metal anyway. It's true. It's true.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
But
maybe don't forget Dio used to write about that stuff. I mean, Dio is Dio. So Dio can write about anything.
He had a really good way about that too. He was a really good storyteller. Yeah. What is it?
Absolutely.
10? It's 10.
God bless another
10 years.
one, man.
He's gone already, isn't it? 10 years.
I know, man. It's so sad, man. I feel like life is sometimes seems like a fleeting moment, eh? You blink your eyes and like last year's behind you already. I know, it's crazy, man. Well, hey, look, we're already we're 4 albums deep. I just met you with regards to Wreck-Defy 3 years ago. So yeah,
I'm just flying. I'm surprised Ozzy's still alive. Speaking of Dio, I'm surprised Ozzy's still with us. but I think he's getting on, in his age and what he's got going on. But he's still with us. But Matt, I want to thank you again. Yeah, I want to thank you.
He's right around the same age, I guess, that Lemmy went at, eh? Right around the same
70
age
years old, something like that, right?
70, 71.
All those guys from the early 70s, they're really old now.
Can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
So, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but so did you have a favorite track or tracks off of Powers?
It's a great offering. I think the first one really got me because of the humor behind it. I really enjoyed the first track there. The best, I think.
Right on. Any throwaway tracks that you feel?
Throwaway tracks? No.
No. Okay. Well, that was the goal. That was the objective. Is like, dude, we had so many extra songs for this record. Like, well, we recorded 9 and then a little 1-minute eulogy. Basically, on the other side is about someone's daughter dying. So, that's all that was. Actually, it's funny because we got a review on somebody shitting on us for that, saying, you only wrote half a song, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, that's actually was arranged for someone's funeral, but. Okay,
wow.
you can harp on it if you want. Yeah, it's amazing how insensitive it can be. But anyways, it's all good. So anyway, that's one of the things we're trying to do was make sure that we had a record that no 2 songs that sounded alike, and yet every song was worthy to be heard, which I thought was a difficult task. And I think some of the songs we passed over were still strong songs. I just think maybe some of them had too many similarities structure-wise to a couple of songs that are already on the record.
That can happen.
I can tell you this about, and I can tell you this about the next record just real quick. And I of course, I want to push Powers That Be here, but the next record, we pushed it as far as we could with regards to what we could do with this thrash sound. As far as me as a writer, I can't really pick any quicker or play any heavier, more technical than we did on this next record, like number 4. So it's pretty much the apex of my ability as a player. So the heavy stuff is as heavy as we could make it, and the mellow stuff is as mellow as we wanted to make it. So it kind of went both ways. The pendulum swung as far to the left as it did to the right. So we're really going to be curious to see how the next one goes over with fans. I know the feedback's been really great with Powers That Be, and I've been really happy and thankful with the people that have been reviewing it for the most part. Like I said, a couple of guys shitting on little things, but at the end of the day, you never please everybody.
You never can.
So
you can't worry about that.
We're just happy. No, you never can. And you know what? We were happy with the record, and really that's all that mattered, right? I mean, you hope people hear it and you hope they like it, but if they don't, it is what it is, right? My favorite thing with criticism is constructive criticism, which I respect wholeheartedly, especially if it's from your peers or people you respect. So obviously fans fall into that category, because if you're a true fan, absolutely you have my respect. So if a fan wants to share an opinion or a criticism with regards to, a reason the song didn't register or resonate, what's the word I'm looking for? Didn't register with them, or they're offended by something, we'd love to hear about that stuff. Seriously, with all 100% sincerity, message me that information, because it allows me an opportunity to sit and dwell on, how you're affecting or not affecting other people, right? So as a musician, that's it's one thing you want to make sure you maintain that credibility within yourself, but at the same time, remember that you are playing to an audience, and you have to respect the audience, because the audience is the reason you're doing it. So, anyway, that's my stand on that. So I welcome the criticism from all fans. By all means, please send your messages to us.
Well, Matt, if you want my opinion on Wreck-Defy and the 3 albums that you have out there, the one thing I have to admire about it, there's no filler, there's no bullshit tracks. It's all substance, it's all great stuff. And so you didn't put me on the spot for what track is my favorite off of Powers That Be, but all your albums, they are all different, and I would expect the 4th one to be different too, but you're not wasting anybody's time with bullshit tracks or filler to just add the time to the album to make it a full album. You're actually taking the time to create a great thrash offering, and you do it time after time. That's my opinion.
Well, thank you very much for that, Dave, and I respect your opinion. You get to speak on behalf of a lot of bands, so I definitely appreciate your praise for the record. It means a lot. Actually,
talking to my colleagues, they feel the same way. So it's not just I feel that way. Many people feel that way. Even people that I've not even talked to, I'm sure, when they hear Wreck-Defy, they know they're dealing with a great product.
Yeah, James on the electric Joker there. You know what? He gave me a ballpark number. I don't want to say it on, I don't want to spill it on him, but he gave me a ballpark number what he thought the album ranked in his opinion, and I was
he told me the same. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of great records released this year, as far as I'm concerned. Between Testament, Onslaught, and there's many others. I mean, there's been some Heathen dropped on Mammoth Records. So for to be included on any list at all, let alone at the top of someone's list, and that's beyond flattering, man. So humbled beyond words, brother. You can't. It's amazing, to share space with those guys. Anyway, any of those bands, on the same
it's always
page.
yes,
one
yes,
thing.
I agree. And it's always great to share your thoughts with other people that feel the same way as about music and about bands that you do, and have someone that you can talk to about it. It just makes it even more exciting about the music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, obvious. And, Matt, I want to thank you again for spending time with us on Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio. I think that we learned all we could about your brand new release, Powers That Be, and knowing that you are going to have a fourth album really made my day, because I discussed with Brother Joker about that, because I remember you were telling me the last time that this was it, and then that was that. And I says, well, I have to make sure I get the facts from Matt. And you clarified that right away. But I thought maybe I dreamt it and I was mistaken. I was like, what, am I thinking about another band? What? So,
Actually, hey, before I forget, Dave, I throw something else out. So I got this other project I'm working on, and it's more of it's quite a departure from Wreck-Defy, but it's nonetheless, if you like riffs, it's very riff driven, and it's like a cross between, it's almost like thrash metal, stoner metal. So thrash stoner metal, it's kind of again like its own thing. So kind of like Spiritual Beggars meets like DRI. It's really cool. It doesn't have the speed of DRI, just the simplicity of the chords, but it really works. And anyway, Justin, who did vocals on the original Wreck-Defy album, Fragments of Anger, is doing bass on this new project. And actually the moniker thus far is called Gutter Creek. That's what we're calling it. And I'm actually doing the vocals on it, all the lead vocals. So it's going to be something really different from the Wreck-Defy
Interesting.
stuff. So yeah, I've shared it with a few people, and the feedback's been good. I've been, I was a little, I don't consider myself a great singer. I can harmonize well, but I'm not I don't feel like I'm a lead vocalist. So I don't know if it'll be something that's toured or anything to play shows, maybe a few home shows maybe, but it might just be a one-off thing, but it's going to be really cool, I think, and then down the road, another project that we already have in the works. Actually, it's just about all done being mapped out. I'm not finalized with all the vocalists yet, but we're going to do a Wreck-Defy covers record. And the idea right now is to do 13 songs by 13 Canadian artists. And some of them are going to be thrashed up a little bit. And the other ones are already by thrash metal artists. So, and the idea was to have a couple different vocalists from different walks of life singing these songs. And just to give it more of a variety, a spice, if you will. And they're going to be cool. But some of the songs that are like from April Wine and bands like that, I did some reworkings and stuff, and they turned out really cool, actually. Really happy. So, there might even be a Loverboy song on there that gets reworked. Just throwing that out there.
Any Rush or Triumph, any bands like that?
I think you're right on both of those.
Excellent.
I think you are. Wow. Yes. I don't want to give too much. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really exciting endeavor, and at the end of the day, it's a real labor of love because, I'm an old guy. I grew up loving all those arena rock bands. Like out of the States, you had your Boston Journey, all these bands, and then in Canada, you had April Wine and Bryan Adams, artists like that. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a fun record too. So there's a lot of music in the works right now. Like I said, that fourth Wreck-Defy album is actually done, but the Gutter Creek stuff, I start recording that next week. Start doing tracking for that next week. So, and once again, Juan will be mixing that record. So it'll have kind of actually, here's a little tidbit too. We're actually going to be using a Hammond organ on a couple songs on this Gutter Creek project. So some cool sounds, man. Throwback to the 70s, you know?
I love that stuff. Wow. You've been quite busy during this COVID epidemic. Wow.
Like I said, Dave, you got to turn it into a blessing, brother, because the curse is what it is. We can live in misery every day, right? But just turn on the TV and watch the news. You can live in misery all day long.
Right. So if I understand you correctly, there will be a fourth Wreck-Defy album, but you're working on two other different offerings that's going to be available as well.
No. Well, the fourth. No. One other Wreck-Defy album will be the covers record. Right. Yeah, and then the Gutter Creek project is going to be something completely different, a departure from Wreck-Defy. It's kind of like stoner thrash metal.
Very nice. Can't wait to hear that stuff, and we'll be here to talk about it as well.
Awesome. I look forward to talking about it with you, and I'll share some tracks as soon as I got some mixes.
I appreciate that. And is there?
I appreciate you having me on your show, buddy.
When you asked me about it, first thing I said, well, you just got with Brother Joker. Are you sure you want to come back on the show? And you said, yes, I definitely do. And I said, sure, no problem. You know, I just don't like to, step on people's toes. But Joker understands because I've gotten with you a couple of times already, and you're like a staple of Metal Meltdown already. So I can never say no to you, of course not. But I know that you. I just got back to doing this now, and I know he just got with you because I couldn't have done anything if it wasn't available. So like it's.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Dave. Listen, I'll always make time for you guys, man. You guys have been great from the onset. Like I said, I hate blow smoke, but it is what it is. I got to give credit where credit's due. So Metal Messiah Radio has been a godsend for this band, and obviously you've been the number one guy that I've dealt with. Now this being our third time, then Joker coming on this year as well as a huge supporter of the band. Nothing but a gentleman when I dealt with him as well. So yeah, if we can expand it. You think there's more VJs or podcast personalities that want to speak to us, myself or anyone else, I can set that up. In fact, I'd like to, maybe get Greg, one of you guys to have Greg come on and talk about Joe. Greg's been on board for this is the third record we just did with Greg. So, Greg's a full-time member of this band. He's not
Joker had mentioned to me something about that. Maybe we'll let the power slaves that be get with Greg.
There you go.
I'll have to mention that to them. If not, maybe they want to get with you. They've been a friend of yours ever since the beginning as well. I think you probably chat with Lori more than anyone else out there because she's always out there on Facebook with her ways that she posts stuff, and I'm sure she tells you what she thinks of your music too. So I think that would be
Lori's
plus.
Great. And what's good about Lori and Toby is I've had political discussions with them, and we can remain completely divided on opposite ends of the spectrum, but be completely respectful of one another.
I do.
You know what I mean? So maybe part of that is because we're from different countries. Like when I have an opinion, that's pertaining to my government, because I don't really have one with regards to yours, right? Nor should I. It's not my place. So maybe there's a little bit more leeway there for us to be attacking the government, because from different angles, different perspectives rather. But yeah, man, everyone's been great at Metal Messiah. It's a fantastic group of people you got working there. So, and truly passionate about music like no other. And that's what more can you ask for someone?
We appreciate.
With regards to
we appreciate your kind words. And before we go, I just want to make sure: is there anything that you'd like to say to your fans that are tuning in right now?
I love every fan we have, and at the end of the day, we do this music because of our fans. At first it was a cathartic process, but 3-4 albums deep now, it's not about us anymore. It's about the family of fans, and let's build this monster together, fans and us.
Absolutely.
Let's keep going with it, people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Matt, I want to wish you and all on Wreck-Defy, first of all, being healthy and being safe in this COVID situation, obviously. And keep doing your great works of art and what you do, and may you have future success in everything that you want to do. I don't know when this COVID situation will go away, but just stay healthy out there and keep doing what you do. And you'll be back here on Metal Messiah Radio, if not the Metal Meltdown, and the Metal Meltdown, either way. And just keep doing what you do, and you'll always have a place here to talk about it. No doubt about it.
Great on, brother. I appreciate that. Can I make a request for a song through you
sure.
right now? Okay, so I want you to play Beyond Hate from Powers That Be, and I want to dedicate it to Lester the Douche.
To Lester the Douche.
Cheers, brother. Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Crank it up, Metal Maniacs.